everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua. This is going to be one of my life after maceration series where I talk about how fragrances have developed over time. I usually allow my fragrances, especially Middle Eastern fragrances, to sit for a while. Maceration has no time limit. The longer it stays, the better. So if you allow fragrances to sit for at least 2-3 weeks, a month, and up, that is when you're going to really get a full benefit of the fragrances. A lot of them are going to thicken up. Some of them will smoothen out. Some of them will become much more potent. Some of them will become much more long lasting. It all depends on the type of fragrance you are macerating or you're allowing to sit. And in this video, I have 7 fragrances I have allowed to sit for a while. The longest I have allowed to macerate in this video is going to be from a dupe house, but not a Middle Eastern house. And I was super excited about this particular fragrance because as soon as I saw it, my anticipation level was like tripled. I needed to have this fragrance. I immediately asked someone to order this fragrance for me, and this was likened to guidance at the time, and you couldn't tell me it is not going to be an accurate inspired by or dupe because the bottle gave me guidance. Look at the bottle here, Mouj Garden. The packaging gave me 100% guidance. So I knew it wasn't going to fail. But as soon as this fragrance got to me and I opened it up, it was like the biggest letdown of 2023 when it came to deep fragrances because it smelled nothing like guidance. Nothing, absolutely nothing. You might assume because of the packaging it was going to nail it. It didn't. It rather gave me something more floral. It is more of a floral fragrance because even the note structure for this one includes some jasmine and some other florals, but what I get the most is going to be like the jasmine, tangerine, and then something like tuberose. It sat for over almost a year now. I got this like almost a year now, and when I was going back to Ghana, I even didn't want to go with this fragrance because I didn't feel I would need this. It wasn't a bad fragrance to begin with, honestly. If you were looking for a floral fragrance, that is going to be it, because it's a very creamy sandalwoody jasmine and tuberose with a hint of the tangerine, but it doesn't give me anything guidance at all. If it was advertised or marketed as a floral fragrance, it would make a lot of sense because it is not a bad fragrance, and after sitting for almost 1 year, I don't think the scent profile by itself has changed. It hasn't. It is a very beautiful one, but it's not going to give you guidance. It is going to give you a creamy sandalwoody jasmine and tuberose scent with a hint of a tangerine nuance. It is beautiful. Honestly, it is quite a beautiful scent. It gives me a very likable floral scent, but nothing like hazelnut, rose. I should have even known this because even the note structure doesn't contain rose and the hazelnut and all those guidance note structure, but for some reason I fell for it. I got this one. It doesn't smell like guidance at all, so I would still recommend this fragrance. For the price, I think I got this for less than $20 at a time. I would still recommend this, but it is not going to be your guidance dupe. You can go for something like Bayan Al Ashra. That is what I know when it comes to Middle Eastern inspired by fragrances. But Mouj Garden by Milestone, the brand is known as Milestone, it's not going to give you that. Nonetheless, after almost 1 year, I think I'll recommend this. I'm going to utilize this now that I'm here and it's still available, because I left this with my mom, but she didn't really use this fragrance, because she had other fragrances, that she prefers over this. But I think I'm going to incorporate it into my routine and see how it goes. But I think it is a good one. It's developed beautifully. It's become much more creamy, much more, smoother. It wasn't even bad to begin with. So Mouj Garden from Milestone, I recommend, but it's not going to give you guidance as the bottle and the package, are indicating. The next fragrance on this list is going to be from Watani, and this I believe is quite underrated. I've come across quite a number of Memo Centra, Memo Paris Centra dupes, but they are quite on the higher side in terms of price. something like Melody from Orientica is a good one, you know, but it has a very heavy petitgrain that a lot of people struggle with, including myself. But when I chanced upon this Nadine from Watani, I was gifted this by Sea Chronicles, you know, when I was there. I actually asked for it because as soon as I smelt it, it immediately reminded me of Memo Paris Sintra. And fortunately, I've been able to sample Sintra and it smells exactly the same. You know, Nadine from Our Tanya smells exactly the same. What I noticed when she gave this to me was that it was already opened, you know, it was already, I think it was fairly new. She had fairly, you know, she had recently opened the bottle, so it had gone through a bit of maceration, but even at that point, it wasn't the smoothest, you know, it wasn't the smoothest of fragrance I had come across. I could still feel it was a bit, you know, a bit of a screechy vibe to it, although like a good one. You know, it's been about 2 months now since I have it, you know, in my possession, and I can confidently say that Nadine has thoroughly transformed. I don't get that intense, you know, screechy vibe I used to get. It is transformed, you know. As soon as I was able to sample Sintra, it immediately, I was like, okay, this is it, you know, this is it. It's a very beautiful one. It's one of those fragrances that needs a bit of time. I think maybe the first few weeks are going to be feel a bit, you know, screechy to you, but just allow it to sit, you know. The note structure doesn't contain the same note structure for Sintra, you know, but it's a totally different note structure. But when you smell this, you know, you would immediately know that is what they were going for. I believe this is a good one, you know, for the price. I think this one is going for around $11-12, whilst the other counterparts, you know, other alternatives to Memo Paris Sintra are much more higher, you know. So I would say I'll absolutely recommend that you go for Nadine from Our Tanya for the price. If you allow it to sit for a while, it smoothens out beautifully. Now the strength, you know, when it comes to performance, even initially it was like on steroids, you know, it will give you like a full day's wear, especially on clothes. Now you can get like a day and beyond because it is that strong, you know. It has improved in terms of the performance. So I'll highly recommend Nadine from Watani. The next one I have here is from Paris Corner. It is quite a recent release. I think I've had it for just a little above a month, you know. Voux Patisserie, likened or likened to Zerjov's Italica, which I have not, you know, tried. I've just ordered a sample of that, and I hope, you know, I can be able to compare it. And this is a very beautiful one. I had no issue with this from day one. You know, it is one of those, you know, smooth from the beginning fragrances. It didn't give me anything screechy. It was smooth with that almond, you know, that sort of, you know, almond Play-Doh vibes with the biscuity nuance, you know. I'm not too sure the exact note structure for this, but it's going to give you your hearty, comforting food sort of feel, you know, like a very warm almond milk with some, you know, biscuit vibes. That is what essentially it is. It was a good one to begin with. It didn't give me anything screechy, you know. I think the only thing I can say about this after sitting for about a month is the fact that it feels much more creamy, you know. I remember the review I did about this, I spoke about the fact that it has this sort of dense, you know, quality about it, although it also feels airy when you spray it out. It feels much more dense now when I, you know, I spray it now on. It feels like, you know, a dense cup of warm almond milk, you know. That is what it essentially smells like. It's very beautiful. It doesn't really need a lot of time to go through maceration because it is not screechy. It didn't have anything like an intense alcohol opening. There was nothing like that. To me, it was a smooth one from the beginning. So if you are in a hurry to utilize something without allowing it to sit for weeks and months, Voux Patisserie from Paris Corner is one that I would highly recommend. It really doesn't need a lot of time, you know. Plus, it gets creamier with time, you know. It's gotten so much creamier. Longevity is quite moderate. It's not going to give you 24 hours. It's going to give you around the 10-12, you know, hour mark, you know, on clothes. So I think it's a good one. So Voux Patisserie, I will highly recommend. The next one that I'm going to speak about is a fragrance. I believe it's underhyped. You know, I will even consider this one as a hidden gem. Mouj Cognac, from Paris Corner as part of the Mouj series. They have the Mouj Appletini, which I'll be talking about very soon. And this is a different one. It is quite a difficult fragrance to describe because it is not going to give you your norm. I cannot associate this with Angel's Share because it doesn't give me Angel's Share. I cannot associate it with Camera because it doesn't give me Camera. It is more of a very light coffee scent with the Davana, which gives it a greenness, It's a green fragrance with the slight presence of a coffee scent. And the coffee here doesn't feel like a realistic, intense coffee, like something like French coffee. No, it doesn't give me French coffee vibes. It gives me something like a straight up, unsweetened coffee, it feels like the kawa in Camera kawa, that sort of kawa, that sort of coffee, but not like the ones that a lot of us are used to, like the Nescafe sort of, scent. No, it doesn't give me anything like cappuccino, latte sort of feel. It is like a sort of there's a coffee there, but it's not like a realistic one, So I consider this as a coffee scent with a bit of a lactonic, hint at the background, a bit of a greenness, like there's a huge presence of a greenness about this fragrance because of the Davana, obviously, and some other resonance notes here. It has a note of tonka, so it's quite, tonka heavy, rich, thick resonance. But what you are going to predominantly get after maceration is that intense tonka, that intense Davana, that intense green feel. It feels much more green now. I used to get a hint of a lactonic nuance at the beginning. Now that sort of lactonic nuance is sort of, dialing back a bit, but it's still there. It's still there, but not like your lactonic fragrance, It's a good one. I consider it as a hidden gem. I can't associate a lot of scent with this. It's quite different. It doesn't give me something like that immediately. I get reminded of. I think the only thing I could associate this with initially was Say by Lattafa, but after maceration, it's taking a different direction altogether. It is more of a green Davana, herbal feel with the slight coffee hint and the heavy presence of tonka. It's smoothing out beautifully, very beautifully. So I would say check this one out. I'll consider it as a hidden gem because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it or featuring it in a lot of videos, but I think it is a good one. The next one I have here is going to be from Paris Corner also. I got a lot of Paris Corner fragrances this year, and this is going to be from the autobiography series Citron Vanille. And the notes in this one are the lemon, bergamot, and vanilla. It has some pink pepper, sandalwood, cedar, max vetiver, and then amber and tonka, And this has been likened to, I think, Chanel Allure L'Homme, I think it's being marketed as a masculine leaning fragrance, but to me, it is perfectly unisex, It is more about the citrus and then a light summer vanilla feel. That is what essentially this one is. And when I first got this one, I was expecting the lemon, but even till this day, I still don't get the lemon that, they have incorporated or added in the nose structure. What this one has become more to me is more of an orange blossom fragrance, The lemon translates into something like orange blossom, or not orange blossom, but like something like mandarin orange, It somehow reminds me of North Star expression because of the orange nuance in this, although it doesn't contain orange, but rather lemon. It gives me orangey vibes plus that light, airy, beautiful summer vanilla, and the heavy presence of that cedar. I think the cedar is what will make people consider it as masculine leaning, but I don't mind at all. I don't mind this being heavy with the cedar. It is not ultra masculine. It is a perfect unisex scent. It has become much more sweeter. I find the orange, nuance I get in this much more, sweeter. It used to be sweet, but now that it has sat, it's like the orange, feels so much sweeter than when I initially got this one. It's a very beautiful one. I was expecting that it become much more woody because of the cedar and that, earthy vetiver. I get something like a smoky, earthy vetiver feel, at the background, but it's not. It didn't develop into something more masculine. I think it maintained that unisex appeal. It is a very unisex fragrance. I think a lot of people are going to appreciate it because it feels very mass appealing, very mass appealing to me. The lemon translates more into orange, and the orange over time has become so much sweeter, that is what it tastes to me. So I think it is a good one that you can look into. Autobiography Citron Vanille. I love this one. I'll highly recommend that you check it out. I'm going to go with a fragrance. I had a decant to begin, and usually when you start with decants, they come already sort of macerated, so you're not previewed to the initial stages where it could be rough or have some sort of things that you need to let it develop. And I remember getting my decant of Mayar Natural Intense by Lattafa. It was, yes, smooth, but after getting this full bottle and then opening it up, I realized the initial first week was like a bit green. I think it has some green tangerine, some fig, some vanilla, some water lily, some lettuce. It is a floral aquatic, green fragrance. It was quite harsh. The greenness that I felt when I opened the full bottle was quite harsh to me as compared to when I got the decants. It felt a bit harsh, that green tangerine, that melon thing was a bit too green for me, but it's smoothing out. I think I've opened this for about a month now, and within a month that greenness has subsided considerably. It is smoothing out. I don't get it as much. It was quite harsh, but now I don't get that sharp green tangerine, and that melon. I don't get it as much. It's transformed. It has become much more, like of an aquatic floral scent, an aquatic floral scent because of the water lily, the lotus. It feels much more floral with a hint of the melon. The melon feels like cantaloupe to me. It gives me that sort of cantaloupe smell, like something I get in Calvin Klein's Obsession, or that sort of old school melon type. I get it, but it's become much more smoother. I don't get that greenness as much as I used to do from the beginning when I opened the full bottle. It was sharp and a lot more green, but now it is not as green. It feels very smoothened out. You get more of the watery aquatic quality with the florals and that fig and that melon. You get that melon vibe to it. People have likened this to I think even when I did my review, I likened this one to Aqua di Joa, and even Obsession. I get elements of all those things in it. It's a very simple but yet a bit intricate one. It doesn't give you generic. It is quite simple yet also a bit complicated. It's a very good one, so I'll highly recommend this. Just that you need to bypass that heavy sharp green touch it has at the beginning, which is going to last you for around 1 week or 2 weeks, after which it becomes very smooth. And that is going to be my after maceration review of Mayar Natural Intense by Lattafa. And I think the last one I have here is from Paris Corner as well, Mouj Appletini. It's a good one. From the beginning it didn't give me anything screechy. I love this from day one. It is fashioned after Killian's apple brandy on the rocks. Thankfully I've been able to sample that. I was able to sample a lot of these fragrances quite recently. It gives me the same vibe, but honestly I don't think it is like 100% accurate dupe. This one feels much more soapy. I remember the first review I did about this, I spoke about the fact that it feels quite soapy. Now that it has sat for more than a month, I get that soapy nuance a lot more. It feels much more fresh soap, like fresh soap that you use for your bath, you know, something like a soap that a man would normally use, you know. There's something about this fragrance that reminds me of men's bar soap, you know, because of that soapy nuance I get in it. I get it a lot more now. It used to be there, but after about a month and a half, I get that soapy nuance a lot more, you know. And I used to get this zesty green rind of an orange vibe. It's become less in it, you know. I don't get it as much as I used to get, you know, that sort of zesty orange, like unripe orange rind feel. I don't get it as much, you know. Now what I'm predominantly getting is that apple coupled with a very soapy touch. The soapy nuance has intensified, you know. I don't know why, but the soapy nuance in this one has intensified. It doesn't make it smell bad, you know. It's still a very good one because you're still getting that boozy, I think brandy. You're still getting that boozy, but it's not as boozy. It is not like a heavy boozy fragrance like Angel Share, for example. You know, you're still getting that slight booziness. That's, you know, a bit of a citrus effervescent vibe. And that apple, you know, that apple, that is the main dominant note. But that soapy freshness, I get so much more. It's like 2 times more than I used to get, you know. I don't know. It could be a good thing for some people. It could be a bad thing for others. If you are not looking for something fresh and soapy, but I get it so much more now that it has, you know, macerated for a month and a half now, you know. I don't mind it at all. I personally do not mind that soapy touch at all, you know. But just to give you a heads up in case you are looking out for this, just bear in mind that eventually it's going to give you an intense soapy sort of, you know, nuance, you know. And that is what I get from this fragrance. It is still a very beautiful one. Performance wise, top notch. Is going to last you like 15-20 hours plus, especially on clothes. Even on skin, it's good, you know. Performance wise is good. It is not beast mode, but it's still going to linger on your clothes, on your skin for quite a long time, you know. So that is all I have for you about these 7 fragrances after maceration. I hope they are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's one more. If you have similar, you know, experience as some of these fragrances, let me know in the comment section. I'm curious because maceration is not always for the best, you know, but I think with these 7, they really, you know, did well. You know, nothing really became worse off. They all sort of improved, and I love them for that. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.